This is Bromley, Bexley and Greenwich LDC. Please identify yourself, sir.
Good morning. Nick Patsis, Chair of Bromley LDC. I'm really angry about this. NHS Choices, and now apparently it's called NHS UK, I didn't know that before, apply a real sledgehammer approach that always discriminates us against dentists in circumstances over which we've got no control, and yet will make no concession for at all. We work very hard to look after our patients within a bloody awful system. I'll give you a couple of examples that's recently occurred with us. A local dentist retires and their practice closes. Lots of NHS patients are redirected to us, and the commissioners refuse to reallocate their UDAs, so ending up with not being able to do any NHS appointments through March. Patients have to wait till after April. And as always, what do patients do? They blame us and they vent on NHS Choices rather than the system. I emailed the commissioners back again with my other hat as chair of Bromley LDC, and what happens? They don't even bother to reply, which is absolutely typical. We then offered the patients a checkup for £25, so they only had to pay £3 above the normal charge, or £3.20, I think, to bring it up to our UDA system. Then what happens? We get Choices comments saying a greedy dentist forcing us to go private. We just can't, whatever we do, we just can't win. Another example is hospital appointments. X-rays go misses, they lose the notes or whatever. It's not the hospital's fault. Of course, it's our fault. Another dud NHS Choices review. I know we can make replies to Choices comments, but this is frustrating, time-consuming. You still end up with a bad review. When challenged, they always the moderators just reject it out of hand. You have got no right of appeal or anything else. It's a completely unfair system. And I noticed also, we all work in a mixed economy, private and national health, but disproportionately, it's the NHS ones that complain. They've got higher expectations, and you wonder, is this worth it? Please support the motion.
Thank you. I think Nick Stolz would like to speak to this. Thank you, Nick.
For my sins, I am the BDA representative on a group called the Clinical Information Advisory Group, which essentially is the NHS Choices group. I'm certainly not an apologist for them, and I'm certainly not somebody who advocates NHS Choices. But what we're trying to do is to make the better job from something that's really bad. So we sit on that panel and we do our very best, and we recognise the situation. Now, many of you will be aware, and Nick's already alluded to this in his presentation, that the posts are moderated. So any post that is placed on NHS Choices is moderated for things like language, confidentiality, etc. Unlike many other sites where there is no moderation whatsoever and there's no opportunity for taking things down. Now, that may not be a great example, but it's better than what you could get. You can challenge posts, as you've already found, and you can respond to them. And while that challenge is taking place, that post is taken down and investigated. And we've had a number of examples of that, where we've challenged that. One example was an orthodontic practice who was, there was a post on it saying that the dentures they'd made were appalling. Now, that was a clear example where posts have been put on the wrong site, on the wrong page, and we were able to challenge that and get them to investigate that. But what we can't do is to get them to withdraw NHS Choices altogether. So it's really trying to make the best of a bad job, and we will continue to do that. And if you've got examples where you think that things are flagrantly wrong, and Nick's mentioned a couple, then by all means come back to me and I will take it to them. They have a group They have a team that will be looking at these kind of things, and we can put it there. But it's very unlikely that where an example of a patient feeling as though they've been hard done by is posted, that it's going to be taken down simply because of that. One of the things that we're resisting hard at the moment is the possible contractual responsibility for updating your practice profile. At the moment, it's voluntary within 90 days. We're trying very hard to prevent that becoming a contractual responsibility. So that's the background to the situation. By all means, come and speak to me afterwards if you feel that there are further issues that you need to take forward.
Thank you, Nick. Right, we'll take this to the vote. Motion 32, sorry. Motion 32, those in favour, please. This is England only, sorry, English LDCs. Thank you. Those against? Thank you. And any abstentions? Motion is carried. Thank you very much.